Question be now put.
A point of order.
This part, which is quite substantial, we've only had 4 calls.
I haven't made a determination.
Thank you.
Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Listeners to part 2 of this debate should feel absolutely assured that Labor strongly supports this bill. We strongly support this bill, and throughout the debate we've raised questions, we've identified potential issues arising out of this settlement, and we've asked for points of clarification. So in terms of our contribution this afternoon, it is for that reason that we continue to seek points of clarification. Now, I just want to highlight some of the questions that have been asked in part 2, because this is really the meat on the bones, the guts of the settlement and the opportunities that will be afforded to the Whanganui Iwi. And it's really firstly building on the contribution of Marion Street, and she said that the component of Part 2 transfers the Crown Forest assets, the land and the accumulated rentals. So the question that I have arising out of her contribution is to the Minister is, what is the value of the accumulated rentals? Now, part of the difficulty with why we have to ask the question here in the House in the committee stages is that the Māori Affairs Select Committee didn't provide a robust report at the beginning of this bill seeking perhaps some of these more pertinent questions. So I'd like to put that question to the Minister because it is an important one. It is one of substance relating to the value of the settlement, and many times prior in other settlements we understand what the value of the settlement is, whether it's cultural redress or actual value or dollars, and I think that is a reasonable question to ask the Minister, and whether our contribution in identifying accumulated rentals as part of the transfer to iwi, whether that is correct, and if it is correct, what is the value of the accumulated rentals that will be transferred to iwi, because that in itself will signal the level of opportunity afforded to Whanganui Iwi. Also, with regards to the ETS, now I think building on the contribution of my colleague, Kelvin Davis, and the situation up north, I kind of thought while you were speaking that, Kelvin, was that actually, if any question was put on the ETS, we should probably ask the Māori Party how did they deal with national benefit opportunities for Māori in this settlement, because I understand it was quite a key piece of the negotiating of an outcome on the ETS, and it would be really good if one member of the Māori Party could actually explain to the House what the benefit of that particular deal on the ETS will mean for this settlement, because it's a very real question when we ask who has liability for the replanting of the trees. Is it the owners, or is it the owners of the trees or the owners of the land? A very simple question, and by and large something that goes to the heart of broader questions around how would the ETS agreement reached by the Māori Party and national benefit the Whanganui Iwi in this case. So, Minister, we haven't asked too many questions on this bill, but we have thought points of clarification. We would indeed appreciate a response on those particular questions, because we believe that in seeking clarification at this point of the committee stages of the bill, it will actually help people who are listening to the debate understand and appreciate, I think, the depth and the effort that has gone into this particular the component of the settlement. Also note in clause 11 that there is provision for access to the settlement online, so that people can see the components of the settlement. And I had wondered when I saw that and I can't recall my attention being drawn to a clause like that in other settlements. It could be a common provision, but I had wondered, were there technical aspects of the settlement that might lend itself to a type of interpretation that could create confusion. So, if, Mr Chair,
Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
if there is the intent of including such a small clause like that, but to ensure that access to the legislation is, access to the on-account settlement is free, and if the intention is to ensure that people are able to cite it in its full extent, then a clarification about whether there could be some technical aspects of the deed that could create confusion or misinterpretation of the intent of the deed. So, Minister, again, 3 small questions. Firstly, around the ETS. Who has the liability for the replanting of trees? Is it the owners of the trees or the owners of the land? The next question was, what is the value of the accumulated rentals, so that we could get a feel for the quantum of this particular settlement? And if access to the settlement is being made in the manner as it is provided for in the bill, is it because there could be some misinterpretation of the intent of the deed? And if I am unfounded on all 3 fronts, then I'm prepared to accept that if you respond to the question. Thank you very much. Kia ora.